And another way to construct an image is to break down your image into shapes. Now, particularly selected a simple bird, or if you think about the anatomical structure underneath here, there's a skull, there's a spine, there's a rib cage. There are obviously feather bones, there's thin leg bones, and there's some bones here at the bottom of the spine. There's not a lot there, and obviously the feathers are concealing it, but thinking about the underlying structure of an object is sometimes quite helpful. So what you're going to do is you're going to look at this wren, which has the similar features but in a different position, and break it down. Now into there, the skull was a circle, and if we looked for an oval shape, it's kind of like a longer thin shape, and I'd suggest it's at a slight tilted angle. See how I'm drawing onto here, and if you want to draw onto your image, that's absolutely fine. Now there's another oval here. Now it's not displaced behind it, it's actually over the top of it. So I'd say it starts about there, and again it's at an angle. I could take some measurements off here. We've done the previous task, so it's going to be bigger than I'd previously considered when I started to draw. Drawing it side by side, so I should have a reasonable scale there. The feathers on the tail are kind of coming up in a little spike area. The beak is coming out at an angle. See how it's slightly angled up? Going around, just trying to work it out. Now the legs, slight angle. I'm going to put the pencil on them so you can see at the top. They're both running parallel here and here. And then this one is slightly lower as it comes across. Now look at the angle. If you're looking at the angle, if those two lines are running parallel, something's not quite right. And then the claws are coming down and across. Can't really see too much detail on the claws there. So I've largely constructed the overall shapes. And again, this might be where you stop at this point. But I'm going to now go on and add a little bit more of the detail. See the line at the bottom of the wing? It's at a slight angle again, and it's coming out at the back. So I'm going to start to put these things in. I've marked a little point, I've taken a little measurement from the end of the beak to here. It's like the measuring I've done on the previous task. And I could start to now build up the shape of the bird. The beak comes into the body a little bit, the head comes up, slight angle, it's quite flat on top, comes down. Now the back I think is slightly higher. We'll look at the distance from there to there, and the line it comes down, and it comes down steeper at the bottom end. So the line here is coming up and it's coming off. This feather's now slightly broken at the top, and then it flares out. You can see it's thicker and darker into this area here, and you can see the pattern into the feather. I'm not going to draw all that detail in at the moment. I'm going to go back and put the eye in. I've previously measured, you can see the line where I'd measured the eye is going to be. There's a little bit of a shadow area around that eye. So from here it comes down. Although we've got those two ellipse shapes, notice one's coming there and one's coming here. There's a little bit of feathers, as I talked about on the sparrow, concealing what's going on below. So I'm beginning to draw that shape in there. Now the top of these legs looks a bit thicker because he's got feathers around him, but it's a very skinny little bone down the middle. So I'm just thickening out and drawing in. I can't see all the claws into there and the detail. At the moment I can just work out enough to construct a little bit of a foot shape. So I'm still doing a working outline, just trying to construct the shape of the bird. Here that comes down and across a little bit, maybe slightly higher than I've drawn it previously. This thing comes at an angle and comes down steeper than before. So this is all we're asking you to do, to go around and then start constructing the bird in, looking at the proportions and detail.